So bids are coming in for our players, Jakub Kiwior and Fabio Vieira. Two players, well, I think a year ago everyone would have been happy for them to go. I think Kiwior people want to keep now. Fabio Vieira hasn't played a minute of pre-season. I think that might have been because of Club World Cup as well as, of course, with Porto. But I still think there's quite a few people in the Arsenal fan base that think, yeah, maybe not good enough, but he's not a bad footballer. So I guess no major surprise that there's interest coming in for both. Jakub Kiwior, according to Santi Auna, at Santi_J_FM, has said that Arsenal have actually turned down a formal bid for Polish centre-back Jakub Kiwior from Porto. The proposal was a loan with an obligation to buy for 27 million euros. I actually like that we've rejected this. We'll talk about the Vieira thing in a second. But I like that we've rejected this because 27 million euros is about, what, 20 to 22, 23 million pounds. We signed him for about that. He's a better player. I think he's got a better reputation now. He's a Polish international. He's a very, very good passer of football. He's one of the most technical defenders we have, I think. I just wouldn't be letting him go. I mean, when you look at the performances he put in Gabriel's absence against the likes of Mbappe, Vinicius, doing it on the big stage, I don't think he looked at all out of sorts against PSG, either against their phenomenal attack. I think it's fair to say that this is a minimum £35 million player. I don't think Arsenal will get that because I don't think Arsenal are very good at selling. But I quite like that Arsenal have said, no, it's going to take you more to get a player of Jakub Kiwior's quality. I like that. I like for Jakub that his reputation has changed to a point where people see that. We're not just saying, we'll take what you can get because we need to go buy. Arsenal have 6 signings in. Eze is a deal that I think the finances are there to do. I don't think we're feeling like the sales are crucial to that, despite what some have said. But I think it's more like a Martinelli or Trossard sale. Although people are saying that actually Eze incoming isn't anything to do with the Martinelli or Trossard sale. Anyway, let me not go down a tangent. Go on a tangent. Down a tangent? On a tangent. It's on a tangent. It's nice that we can literally just look at the Kiwior situation for what it is. Is he worth what we've been offered? Which is not a bad offer. I think a year ago, I think even 6 months ago, we'd have expected someone to come in with a lot less than that. A loan with an obligation around 22 million. It's not bad, but it's not good enough. It's a small profit, but it's not good enough. And I think it's good for Andrea Berta and Arsenal to say, well, no, we've got our defence sorted. We do not need to be letting a player like Jakub Kiwior go because he plays a part in the squad, because he's depth, because he's good. And if you want him, it's going to cost you some money. We look at what Chelsea are letting players go for. Hugo Chukwueze thinks about to make a move to Burnley, I think it was. Look at the money they've got 52 million from us, from Madueke. We look at the money they make. We look at what Liverpool are selling their players for. I think it's fair for Arsenal to stand firm on a few of these players, Jakub Kiwior being one of them, and saying, no, it's going to take you something a bit more. It's going to take some more serious money to get a player like him out of our squad because we can use him, we can benefit from him. And also, I think he gives us something that weirdly Gabriel doesn't give. When you look at what he does in terms of distribution, playing out the back, I think you could easily play Kiwior, in the home games, or against basically everyone 8th or below. If you wanted to rotate him in, give Gabriel a rest after having hamstring surgery, I think you could play Jakub Kiwior quite comfortably. The problem is, I do think Mikel Arteta showed in pre-season he's leading towards Calafiori being the starting centre-back in Gabriel's absence. I think he prefers him physically. And on the ball, he's very, very good too, Cala. And I think maybe there's just a preference there. I mean, could next season's options be lewis-skelly and Zinchenko as our left-backs, Calafiori and Gabriel as our centre-backs, and then, therefore, there's no room for Kiwior? But, I mean, let's see. Bids are coming in. It wouldn't surprise me if he goes. This is the first we've heard of anything kind of really concrete. But yeah, I think we're right to hold firm because I think we can get nearer 27 to 30 million. I would demand 35, but I think Arsenal could do a deal like that. The other news comes from David Ornstein. It's an exclusive that Stuttgart are pursuing a deal to sign Fabio Vieira from Arsenal. 25-year-old attacking midfielder spent last season on loan at Porto. Stuttgart have approached... Stuttgart's approach relates to a permanent move. No agreement yet, but talks with Arsenal continue. Look, I'm not going to go on a massive spiel about Fabio Vieira. I think if he goes, I'll give you my kind of full opinion on him and flesh out why I actually think this is a more talented player that we could and should have got more out of than we did. But I think I'd say this. I like that there's moves for a that there's approaches in regards to a permanent move from Stuttgart. How did Stuttgart do last season? I mean, I think one of the questions is this a good move for Vieira. Let's have a little look. What did they do last season, Stuttgart? Finished 9th. So they are comfortably, they're a mid-table team in German football. I think he'll go and do well. But again, this is another player, when you look at Saka, Dalman, Waneri, Erdegaard, Madueke, these are all left-footed players that predominantly play on the right side of the pitch in some way, shape or form. That's where Vieira would have done that's where Fabio Vieira would have done his best work. And there's no room for him now. So, I mean, it's only right. But what should I be trying to look for as a fee? I know, 20 million? They're not going to pay that, are they? They will do well to get 15, but I'd be asking for 20. So again, this isn't a talentless footballer, guys. Like, he can play. He has, pre the emergence of a few other players, he's got one of the most effective left foots in terms of output in the final third. I think he's someone who can play a killer pass. He's got a good strike on him. I think Fabio Vieira, if he'd been used and alternated more with Erdegaard, I think Vieira could have played more of a part in this squad and actually could have evolved into a decent player for us. I don't think he was ever going to be a first teamer, but I think he could have done more for us. But I don't think Arteta managed him brilliantly, if I'm really honest. But then you don't know what Arteta's seeing in training. You don't know what's going on behind the scenes, and all these things will play a part. It's £35 million poorly spent from Arsenal, but I think we're used to £35 million feeling like it's got to guarantee you quality because of maybe 10 years ago. But the reality is we know that those are quite standard fees now. Yeah, we sort of struggle to get it for players half the time. So I don't know what he'll go for, Fabio Vieira, but Ornstein letting us know that there's a move incoming. Other news, Sami Mokbel said that Arsenal hold an interest in Rennes defender Jeremy Jacquet. Open mind over whether to move this window, but interest will continue regardless. So Arsenal are looking at what is another right-footed defender who I think can play right back. Look, I did see somewhere that this was maybe, I think Fabrizio Romano said that this is in case Kiwior leaves, which takes us back to what we were saying about Zinchenko and lewis-skelly, Calafiori and Gabriel. If those are your 1 and 2 for left back and left centre back, do you need Kiwior? Could you bring in Jacquet, who can cover for, you've got Saliba, Mosquera, then you've got Timber and White, but maybe Timber can cover a left back, therefore you've got someone like Jacquet or Mosquera, maybe chuck him a right back, I don't know, I'm not sure they've ever played there, but I do think he likes to have more than just 2 players for each position in defence. I think he likes to really kind of stack up his options there, Mikel. And I guess without Kiwior, you're doing that. Zinchenko, the right money isn't coming in, so probably going to keep him another year. Timber could play left back if he wants to play Timber and White. He's done that a few times, especially if he wants to lock down particular players left on the right wing. So you go for Timber left back. I don't know. I think this feels, when you read the way it's been reported on, open mind over whether to move this window. And you've read elsewhere that Arsenal looked at the beginning of the window. Some reports said that Jacquet actually refused a move to Arsenal. That's why he signed a new deal with Rennes, so that no real approach could come from other clubs. It feels to me like Arsenal just rate the player and are thinking, we'd like to bring him in, whether it's now or next season, we rate him and we'd like to sign him. It doesn't feel like it's sort of crucial to the squad building anyway. Maybe it's just an opportunity if Kiwior goes. But I think our defence is in good shape. To be honest, I'd leave it how it is. White and Timber, Mosquera, Saliba, Gabriel and Kiwior, and then Calafiori, lewis-skelly, and then Zinchenko's there as well. Calafiori can play centre-back. You can use lewis-skelly or Zinchenko in midfield, and you've got some variety there. That's how I would be building the back four, and we're pretty much there, so I wouldn't really worry about it. On the other sales front, I think Nelson and Zinchenko have been linked with moves to Fulham, haven't they? But Nelson, I think, is close, whereas Zinchenko is taking a little bit more time, so let's see what happens. Anyway, people, that's a long list of updates from on the selling front. Let's see what happens. I did do a reaction to the third kit. And what else came out today on the Goonerverse channel? We talked about Eze and White's and Must that we signed him, and Tor proved it. So go have a little look at that if you're interested. All right, everyone, catch you in a bit.